welcome to Inside Edition, where we discuss national, regional, and international issues in depth. Due to the fact that there has never been a better time for the region's leaders to come together to share their expertise and navigate the challenges, His Excellency Sheikh Abdulaziz bin Daij bin Khalifa Al Khalifa, his private office, is hosting the first MENA Royal Investment Summit 2021 in order to provide an ideal opportunity for UHW private investors, royal family members, prominent business owners, holdings from around the world to explore the best investment prospects and discuss various innovative solutions. To know more about this summit, we are pleased to be joined via Skype by the RNP Consulting Member Private Office, His Excellency Sheikh Abdulaziz Al Khalifa Senior Partner, Dr. Andrea Raimondi. Welcome back. Joining me via Skype is the RNP Consulting Member Private Office of His Excellency Sheikh Abdulaziz Al Khalifa Senior Partner, Dr. Andrea Raimondi. Thank you very much for being with us today.
Thank you very much for hosting me. I'm honored and glad to be here from Italy.
Dr. Andrea, first of an opportunity such as this summit that is happening is very big, not just on the scale of Bahrain, but in general as in prospects for the future. Can you give us and our viewers a brief idea about the first MENA Royal Investment Summit 2021 and what is the importance of hosting it?
Absolutely. The virtual summit will be held on Wednesday, June the 23rd and Thursday, June 24th, in collaboration with more than 200 of the GCC largest family offices, more than 15 sponsors, and over 40 regional and international organizations. And the importance of hosting it for us, it's so high because this is our first investment summit, and it will be the first of a long list of a summit that we are going to organize in the next future. For us, hosting this summit is an impressive job, but we are super happy because we are sure that we start a new cooperation inside the GCC, but also with an international impressive view to help foreigners to look at the Middle East in the right way and to help the Middle East to grow as fast as possible in the best way possible.
Amazing. Now, there has always been a very strong relationship when it comes on the investment, whether it's in the investment or different fields actually between Italy and Bahrain. But for us, it's really interesting to know what are the main topics that will be highlighted and discussed during the summit.
Oh, we have discussed a lot internally in the preparation in the last month about what were the best topics to be spoken in the summit. And at the end of the game, we decided that the main topic will be artificial intelligence and machine-based learning, cryptocurrency and blockchain, fintech, healthcare and tech, cybersecurity, e-commerce, banking and finance, and venture capital.
Yes.
We thought that these are the most, how can I say, the most interesting topic nowadays, especially all over the world, actually, but also looking at the benefit for the region.
Yes. When it comes to the topics you talked about, Bahrain is actually very forward in several of them. Bahrain actually had a very huge fintech conference not so long ago. What can you tell us, how do these subjects specifically pertain to Bahrain?
Well, actually, the Bahrain country is developing so hard and so rapidly. And we want with this summit to increase and highlight the international interest of the global investors to Bahrain itself. We are firmly sure that Bahrain is very advanced in the topic that you were summarized before, especially in fintech. Yeah. And we will have experts from many different fields from Bahrain to share thoughts, highlights, and let me say, to teach to the world how much Bahrain is developed up to now.
Yes, yes. Bahrain is a very business-friendly country that has opened its doors to businesses in the past, and fintech specifically has debuted in the GCC in Bahrain. What are the main topics that will the speakers specifically, the various key speakers that are talking about in the summit? You mentioned that they will be there. Can you give us a brief idea about their participation, how important they are?
Absolutely, thank you. Okay, we will have more than 40 speakers in the 2 days of summit. I just would love to highlight some of them. So we will host Miss Judith Rodin, and Miss Judith Rodin is the renowned philanthropist and former president of Rockefeller Foundation. We will have also Hans Henrik Christensen, the vice president of Dubai Silicon Oasis Authority from the government of Dubai.
Wow.
We will be pleased also to host His Serene Highness Prince Karl Edward von Bismarck from the Bismarck family office. We will share some thoughts, and actually I will speak with him and I will interview him with Mr. Roberto Croci, that is the managing director of Microsoft for Startup in the region.
Yes, yes.
I would be delighted also to interview Her Excellencies Paola Amadei, that is the Italian ambassador, the ambassador of Italy to the Kingdom of Bahrain. And we will share some thoughts also with Mr. Chang Sei Lim, that is the CEO of Luta Global Capital.
Yes.
So, we have also Her Excellencies Sheikha Hind Al Khalifa, the chairperson of the board of directors of Al Rashid Investment Holding from Bahrain.
Yes, yes.
So as you can see, we will have a very huge, super important host and speakers, and we will have. We are sure that our summit will have a very impressive success.
Yes, I mean, just hearing the names of the people that you will be interviewing during the summit and getting their input onto the future investments that can be done in Bahrain or on the GCC or other parts of the world is very impressive. I mean, anybody that hears or knows these names knows about the successes that these people have actually preached and have actually gotten. You mentioned some of the topics that will be mentioned. You said that there will be about AI, there will be about fintech, about several things. It's noticed that the summit will cover a lot of topics related to very different fields. What is the importance of providing this kind of variety and aspects to be discussed by those specialized experts that you just mentioned?
Oh, I think that the value is huge. The first that comes into my mind is that my expectation is that the speakers will share thoughts and will create value, bringing their experience from all over the world. So, for example, we will speak with some private office specialized in real estate for more than 20 years. Yeah. And this private office and these family offices are based globally from China to the US. So the idea is to put around the same table very smart mind, and so that can share thoughts and share experiences to be as much effective as possible in the post-pandemic, because we know that one of the main reasons why we are super happy to have to host this summit now is that all over the world we are living the COVID-19 pandemic.
Yeah.
And the COVID pandemic will end soon, I hope. But for sure, it will remain in our memories forever. Yeah. It will be a sort of milestone that will divide something before and used and habits and daily use, also in business, before the pandemic and something after the pandemic. So what we want to bring in this summit is also not only a hope, because I'm sure that the world will be better, but also a new way of looking how international people, international manager, international investor can work together in peace, of course.
Yeah.
So I mentioned just real estate because it's my expectation, because I will interview them, and I'm curious to understand how, because real estate market has been affected so much from the pandemic, but also the travel experience of people that cannot move, but also the bank innovation. I think that fintech, if I think about anti-money laundering, for example, KYC in the bank.
Yeah.
Okay, before the pandemic, it was almost mandatory, almost globally, that the client of a bank should move personally, taking a plane, and sit down with the bank officer to sign and to open a new account. Okay, now the pandemic demonstrated that sometimes it is not possible physically move themselves. So I'm super interested in listening about the Bahraini expert in fintech on how we can, of course, respect the international AML rules, but without the need for the people around the world to move, to personally move to the bank office.
Yes, yes. I see your point of view on that. I mean, especially that when you talk about it now, and me coming from different backgrounds, in Bahrain it's a lot easier because we have that fintech technology already applied in several banks, whether it is and all of the banks accredited by the CBB, the Central Bank of Bahrain. We also have the benefit application, which made it a lot easier for people. I mean, once you've really read into it, you'll see, and we had a show about this, how it made the financial transactions easier for people by just staying at home and being safe and away from places where people basically get together, such as the banks. Well, before we move on to this subject, my question to you is, how do you feel that the pandemic has affected the investment scene? I mean, people invest in different things now. People invest in different ways now. How did the pandemic affect the investment scene?
From my personal point of view and based on my experience, just to give you an idea, I'm taking care about international business development for more than 25 years. And we internally in the private office of His Excellence Sheikh Abdulaziz bin Khalifa Al Khalifa, we are confident that the investors are changing their approach rapidly. Yeah. First of all, okay, we had the middle of last year, we had a very impressive increase in investment in technology, just like Skype, like Zoom, okay, tools to let us being closer, like me and you are now. But we will see also in Italy, for example, a decrease, a very critical situation for the tourism, because foreigner cannot move to Italy. Yeah. So nowadays, for example, in Italy is increasing the investment in tourism because the prices of the hotel basically are reduced and some of them closed. So it is like a small shopping time in Italy for this, but not only in Italy. I spoke for this summit also with the private office based in Singapore, based in India, and they are living almost the same thing. Moreover, the pandemia give a speed, a boost, on my opinion, on people be closer. Even though we cannot move, because we cannot move, we are closer. And so also the habit, and it is easier now, the co-investment between a private office in Singapore with one in the US, for example, or in Europe. Then the community that I'm following of big investors are very, very feels, okay, they are willing to start to reinvest abroad again, because during the last year and a half, they look only inside their countries because they were not capable to move. And so they put the basis of a high jump. My expectation is a very rapid increase of international exchange of money and international investment as soon as this COVID pandemic will be declared closed.
Yes, hopefully soon. One of the things that I've noticed when you talked about the representatives that are going to be speaking during the summit is that a lot of them are family businesses. So, can you tell us more about the representation of the big number of regional and international family offices that are taking part in the summit? You mentioned the Rockefeller Foundation, mentioned the Rashid Foundation. So, can you just tell us about what is the significance of that?
Yeah, absolutely. So the big numbers are impressive, and I'm very happy. The organization worked so well. So we will have more than 200 family office from the
Yes.
GCC, more than 15 sponsors, and more than 40 regional and international organizations that will participate. We can mention, for example, Lotagloub Capital from
Yes.
Dubai in terms of importance, the Sun Group from China, Al Rashid Group from Bahrain.
Yes.
So these are families and family office that will be with us in the royal family, summit. Also, it is very famous in the European history, also Bismarck family.
Yes.
You know, for us in Italy, Bismarck is actually one of the most important and well-known politician from Germany of
Yes.
some centuries.
I was going to say that because I'm half from Hamburg, and we have a big statue of Bismarck in Hamburg that represents his political insights. Yes.
So Prince Karl Edward von Bismarck is a direct hire of Otto von Bismarck. So yeah, we are very honored to have him, but also to listen to him because his family is still a flagship in Europe. And let me say that when he expresses a presence in something, when he speaks, the biggest family office all over Europe are listening to him. So it's very important family.
Yeah, yeah. And do you feel like the area where the family businesses are going through are thriving now within the pandemic kind of situations, or is it always been that way within the investment scene that family businesses do thrive in certain areas?
I think that the pandemic changed the habits of everybody, included the family office attitude to invest. Some family office I know and I work with for a long time, they had part of their investment to be cut to reduce the losses.
Yeah.
Some others, for example, I've got in mind a couple of them that invested so much in the last years in food and beverage.
Yeah.
And in logistics for food and beverage. Okay, in that case, the pandemic gave a big growth. At the same time, health. In Italy, you know that we are famous all over the world to be one of the country with the most new technology. We are creator, we are inventor, okay? Yes. And so also during this pandemic, we demonstrate our capability to create new things. So we create many healthcare tools for in the emergency of the pandemic to help people that were not good to stay better. So the family, I think that the family office will increase the investment in healthcare. Definitely. And also for ethic, not only for money. Yes. We must be fully aware that the majority of the family office that are big and that are historical have a big impact of ethic. They are moved often and often much more for ethic reason than from business and money reason. So, of course, they don't want to lose their money. Definitely. But the ethic, the philanthropy is something very important for them. Very important.
Definitely. Well, going back to the summit, the first MENA Royal Investment Summit 2021 is sponsored and supported by various parties. Can you tell us more about the sponsorship and its importance?
Absolutely. Thank you. Yes, we have sponsors from all over the world, and from the US, from the UK, from the region, from the Far East. And why a sponsor decided to sponsor this Royal Investment Summit? First of all, because it's the first. Mm-hmm. And, being part of the first big event, it's always very important for who is capable to understand that Al Khalifa family is a super important family, yes. And that our chairman said that this will be the first of many. So first of all, our sponsor, but also our participant, not only the sponsor, will have benefit that we will decline and define just after the summit for the participation of the next one, of the following one, just because they were being in the first.
Yes.
And they will remain in our memories forever, being in the first Royal Summit. Why they decided? Because they want to bring value. They want to introduce their company. Some of them are searching for funds. Some others are searching for partners. I've got in mind a very important sponsor that is bringing, for example, in the region, a new way for cosmetics, for example, that are completely natural, 100%. So they are very, very, they are looking at the environment, but also of the health of the people, like no one has never did in the past. Our sponsor will have the right to speak and to explain their business, but also their services. We have sponsors that are just saying, okay, we are not just, but they will demonstrate their value, their history with their services and the services provided. And some of them will have a booth because, the experience. I personally love so much of this, the technology behind the summit, because our participant will enter through their computer, their mobile, or their laptop, or their tablet, and they will enter virtually in these physical scenarios. They will have their own avatar, and they walk through the different rooms and the different booths. So our sponsor will manage some booths in which the attendant can enter and look.
Yes.
They can participate to the conferences, but also they can do a very effective networking, because when they will meet other avatar, they can chat, but they can also speak with them. Mm-hmm. It's the platform allows an internal call, also in a private mood. So we are happy to host the first Royal Summit in this very modern and super high-tech way.
Yes.
We choose this platform because for us is the most advanced all over the world. And we are super sure that our host and our participant will enjoy so much the experience. In the future, we are discussing internally, probably we will propose a mix between face-to-face and personal and virtual. But I think that we will never leave the virtual one, because I believe in the future, and I believe that you cut all your many of your trouble, especially a summit that is dedicated to the global world. Yeah. So you can participate without moving from your desk. Mm-hmm. You cut all the time lost, and you can be more effective in the networking than in person. Because when you are in private mood, no one else can disturb you. Yes. In a summit, when you are physical, you can start a chat, then arrives a friend and stop the conversation. So I had already done experiences as a host and as a participant, and I've been super happy.
Yes. Definitely, I hear you. I mean, even from the prospect of sustainability and sustainable development, it is much cleaner being on the internet or via Zoom or anything like that, less traveling, more time management, more time availability, and so on for other things. So I definitely see where you're coming from. Bahrain has always been very innovative and has always been at the forefront of initiating investments, at initiating new prospects, at introducing futuristic kind of ideas to the people of the region. One of the things that you've touched on the subject a little bit is this special application for smartphones that will be launched very soon in order to further enhance the experience of the summit's participants. Tell us more about the online services that are going to be provided and how will it enhance the experience of those people that will be a part of the summit.
Absolutely. That was something that I a little bit anticipate.
Yeah.
You, as a participant, you will be free to decide if participate to the summit through your computer on your desk, through your mobile, or through your your tablets. And the experience will be the same. You will be jumped into the summit as if you are in. You will enter and you will create your own avatar. If you want, you can also put your picture to be recognizable, only if you want. And you walk with the easiest way of a video game, let me say. You walk into this virtual scenario, and after few seconds, because I did many trials, after few seconds, you feel like you are really inside. Yeah. You can turn your head, you look around, and you can enter into a room with a specific topic that you would love to hear or to listen to. You can enter into a booth. In the booth of the sponsor, you will find people there. You can interact with them. Then there are also rooms for networking. So if you want to search for someone, you have the list, of course, aligned with the data that everyone provides when register or record. And so you have immediately the vision of who is the person that is in front of you. Yes. If it is interesting or not for you, you can try to keep in contact with him, enter in contact with him, or her, and you can start a written chat from the mobile, from the tablets, or from the computer, or you can ask for a private mode, and with just one click, you start a call. That is, of course, for free, is internal to the platform. Yeah. And you can discuss as if you are in a coffee. Let me say, the only difference is that you have to provide by your own coffee.
Yes. And how do you feel with this kind of technology change the future of similar summits?
Okay. I think, like COVID-19 demonstrated, we were ready to host, to speak and to meet people virtually. Yeah. But we didn't do so hard because, change management is the main enemy of people. Yes. So we were used to meet face to face. So even though the technology was ready, we preferred to take a plane and to sit down face to face. Right. The pandemic obliged us to try new experiences. And we discovered, on my opinion, two things. Yeah. That many meetings can really effectively be held on a technological platform. Some meetings, no. For some meetings, you need the face-to-face because we are human. Yes. And the non-verbal, the energy that can pass and you can share with a counterpart, you can share only if you are in person. So I think that for this summit in the future, my expectation is that the majority of them will be on online platform because reduces not only the cost, because it's not true, because these platforms are very expensive actually, yeah. But reduces the time losses. Yeah. Yeah. And the time is the most precious resources of everybody. Yes. Moreover, increase the effectiveness in the, like a Zoom call, increase some effectiveness in Sun or Skype like we have now, increase the effectiveness because you reduce the chit chat, you go straight to the point. So instead of having 3.5 or 4 hours of meeting, you can easily stay in 1.5 hours, 2 hours, just to give an example. This is the reason why I was saying that some of meetings will be managed face-to-face again, but many others, no.
Yes.
The same for me is for the summit. So I believe that having a virtual and physical, that will be our new challenges. With this will be the best way to proceed, and this is my expectation for the future.
Yes. When we look at the trial of previous entities, Bahrain is very famous for hosting the Manama Dialogue every single year, which is a very big security platform. Previously, we've had to, or it had to be hosted virtually. And one of the things that was sort of an icebreaker was that when people were together or seeing each other on these virtual platforms, it was easier to get to know each other instead of going the traditional icebreaker way and asking about the name or the occupation and so on. So even that by itself, it's easier to get to know the other person and even research or know about who you're talking to or what these entities, where they come from. Do you see that this will make business easier in the future?
Absolutely, yes. It will be an accelerator. I think that, and this is the reason why I firmly believe that this way of managing the summit will become the standard. My expectation is that people will break the ice during the summit because it's easier. We'll do probably a follow-up call on Zoom just to organize a face-to-face meeting somewhere over the globe.
Yes, perfect. Well,
this is my expectation.
That's amazing. What are your expectations when it comes to the outcomes of the summit and the suggested ways of implementing the recommendations that will be talked about?
Well, my expectation on the outcomes are very high. My expectation is that the participant will collect a very important list of networkers, and they will increase so much their know-how, because they will participate to speeches, to roundtable, in which very important, very smart, and very expert people will share thoughts, will share ideas, will create real value. So my expectation is that our participant will be very happy to be there, very lucky because it's the first one, and their outcomes will be a huge list of interesting contact and many information. Then my expectation is exactly what I told you before. My expectation is that after the summit, our participant will have 1 or 2 video calls with the people that they are going to meet in the summit, and then they will organize a flight to meet them face-to-face somewhere all over the globe.
Beautiful. Now, before we end today's show, we're talking today about the first summit that will be taking place. But what can you tell us about the future plans and upcoming projects of the private office of His Excellency Sheikh Abdulaziz bin Taij bin Khalifa Al Khalifa to inform, empower, and accelerate growth across the region's public and private sectors?
You know that our private office, the private office that I'm honored to be part in the advisory board, he is dedicated in helping international people to work in the region for the benefits of the region itself. So for the growth of Bahrain, first of all. So our organization is already organizing a second Royal Summit for November. We do not know exactly now the date in November, and we are internally discussing, but my hope is to be capable to have a mix between online, so virtual and in presence, like I said before. And following that, in 2022 onward, we will have many events, many summits, and because we believe that it is very important, because this summit also, for example, in Italy, he is increasing impressively, also much over my best expectation.
I'm sure.
Let me say, the fame and the interest in the business community on Bahrain. I firmly believe that Bahrain is one of the most interesting countries all over the world, not only in the Middle East, but in Italy, at least, is very well known from some part of the businessmen, but almost unknown on the majority of the businessmen in Italy. And in the last month, also thanks my promotion of the summit itself, I firmly believe that here in Italy, Bahrain, in terms of countries, increases his fame. Let me say, so much.
Yes, definitely. Bahrain is a gateway not only to the region but to the whole to the whole MENA region. Seriously, talking about it in that way, Bahrain and Italy have always had very strong relations when it comes to that point of view, from the business perspective as well as the educational perspective. There are such fields that they have in common, such as the King Hamad chair at the Sapienza University. These are all aspects where there are previous fields of cooperation. Thank you so much, Dr. Andrea Raimondi, for being with us today and for answering our questions and taking some time to be with us. Thank you, dear viewers, for watching us, and we'll see you next week in another episode of Inside Edition.